I'm Emily, 29, and for years I've kept a quiet plan that almost no one in my family knows about. Most Sundays, our extended relatives gather at my aunt's house, a warm place filled with loud conversations and too much dessert. My cousin Vanessa, 31, never misses a chance to turn these dinners into her own fashion show. She tells stories about designer handbags and surprise trips to Europe while everyone listens. I usually sit back and let her talk. I'm a landscape architect with a busy practice, and I like keeping my life private. At a summer barbecue a few years ago, Vanessa made a show of teasing me about my car, pointing out that it wasn't a statement vehicle. I laughed it off, but I'd already started something bigger than any flashy purchase. 5 years ago, I bought a wooded piece of land just outside the city. I'd been quietly designing and building a modern home there, handling much of the landscape design myself. Only my parents and my younger brother knew. Vanessa loves to assume that I envy her lifestyle. She talks as if my simple wardrobe and older apartment mean I'm stuck, but I never corrected her. My parents admire how I keep my plans to myself, and my brother thinks the reveal will be worth the wait. One holiday dinner, Vanessa joked in front of everyone that I was too boring to splurge on anything fun. A few relatives chuckled, and the rumor spread that I secretly wished for Vanessa's life. I just smiled and kept working on my project. I invested carefully, hired skilled contractors when needed, and managed every detail on a tight budget. Custom stonework and a rooftop garden were the finishing touches, and soon it would be ready. Another family brunch brought more digs from Vanessa. She called my small apartment permanent and said I'd never get ahead. I didn't bite. I knew my quiet approach would speak louder than any argument. Weeks later, I stood in the empty rooms of my nearly completed house, checking measurements for the final kitchen cabinets. The glass walls opened to the trees, and the rooftop garden framed the sky. My parents walked through with me, stunned by the design and the forest view. The last permits were nearly done when a small snag delayed the final inspection by a week. It didn't worry me. I focused on finishing touches, lighting the garden paths, arranging the minimalist furniture I'd chosen months ago. During that time, Vanessa kept making her rounds at family events. At a picnic, she bragged about an upcoming Maldives trip and called my life quiet. Later, she announced plans to buy a vacation home in Italy. The relatives murmured with admiration. When someone asked me about my weekends, I just said I was busy with a project. That answer sparked a little curiosity, but no suspicion. Soon, the custom furniture began arriving, each piece fitting the clean lines of the house. A neighbor stopped by while the movers worked and introduced himself. He offered help with move-in logistics and seemed impressed by how carefully everything was planned. When the final inspection finally cleared, I started arranging a small gathering. I invited family to a get-together at my place without any hint that it was a brand new home. My brother helped organize catering and parking, making sure the driveway could handle the cars. Word of the invitation reached Vanessa, and she scoffed, joking that my tiny apartment can't fit everyone. I didn't respond. I just kept setting the stage. The night before the gathering, I walked through each room. Candles and soft lights warmed the open spaces. Fresh flowers filled the kitchen. The rooftop garden glowed under subtle lanterns. After years of steady work and silence, everything was ready for the reveal. By the time the first guest would arrive, every assumption Vanessa had made about me would quietly fall apart. I'm Emily, 29, and the morning after my quiet walkthrough, I headed back to the house early to meet the contractors. The kitchen cabinets had arrived from the custom shop, and the team wanted final measurements before installing the long island and the floating shelves. The rooftop garden irrigation system also needed a last check.